Hi, and welcome to one of our manifesto special videos. I'm Roger Holman, and I'm going to be joined by Tom and Rob to talk about national insurance contributions.
So Robert, I think that's a really good point around the Class 4 NIC, and I think we really ought to address the sort of the NIC elephant in the room as well, which is Rishi Sunak's pledge to bring down national insurance even further. It's already been cut a couple of times over the last year or so, but plans to bring it down on the main employee rate from I think 8% to 6% by I think it's 2027,
yep.
And with a longer term ambition to actually abolish it. And I think the term in the manifesto is when finances allow. Now, I'm not sure how, that's obviously sort of some quite vague wording around that. I personally don't see that being achievable. Now, we all know that, in the UK system, perhaps more so than in other countries, say France and Germany, where social security is a bit more kind of put into buckets of pension contributions and health contributions and so on. A lot more in the UK system does get funded out of general taxation. But I think what's clear to me is that you can't just reduce or abolish something like an NIC contribution without bringing up other taxes. Otherwise, where's the money going to come from? I wonder also if there's a tacit implication that employee NIC might come down and be abolished, but whether the employer contribution would still remain.
I think everything I've seen suggests that employer NIC will stay. There's been no suggestion, even from the Conservative Party, to avoid to get rid of employer national insurance, even though you could argue it's a tax on jobs if you wanted to, and certainly right-wing politicians would argue that, but there's no suggestion that's going to go, and financially there's not a chance in a million we could afford it. National insurance is massively more important as a tax income source for the government than corporate taxes, for example. We get twice as much from national insurance than we do from corporate taxes. So, there's no way you're going to get rid of all of that. And even if you were to get rid of the Class 1 employee and the Class 4 employee, for example, or self-employed in effect, that's potentially 40 billion, which is a massive, massive tax gap. That's like 6p on the basic rate of income tax for everybody. So I think the fact it's woolly is because it's probably unachievable, and they probably know it's unachievable. And even if they move to it slightly, obviously there's still a real cost for that. And if any party was to get rid of it and have, in effect, merged tax and national insurance, and in effect we have that unofficially in terms of with the pot it goes into and everything, but in formal practice, there's value in doing that. But yes, you're going to increase income taxes. You're not going to be able to kind of just say, oh, well, we got rid of NIC and we've kept income tax or capital gains tax or other taxes the same. You're going to have some sort of increase somewhere. Now, that may be some cuts and then some increases rather than just all increases in other taxes, but you're going to have some additional tax somewhere just because it's so important to the total expenditure or total receipts that we get as a country.
Thanks, Rob, and thanks, Tom. If you've got any questions on anything we've discussed today and how it may affect you, please get in touch using the form on this page.